more about trust and things than I do, but I do know one thing: you don't ever put your will with all your property listed on that will in the trust. You've locked that thing up. Then you can't do anything with your property without going through a lot of shenanigans of selling it back to the grantor, and then they get it out of there. If your property is in a trust, you cannot fight for it. If they come up against it, there ain't a thing you can do. The trustee has to do exactly what that trust says. And if he don't do it, they're going to take your property. You cannot do anything, and that's all I'm telling you. I don't care what kind of trust you get. It's simply the one. It's to take to hold your property through probate. People try to protect their property in that. The only thing I've ever had anyone to say that made any sense, well, if you put it in there, they can sue you, but they can't sue your property, which happens to be in a trust. And that is true to a point. But on property taxes and everything like that, I'm telling you, I went through it. And it's not very, in other words, when 2 policemen and 2 sheriff's deputies come out when you write and start arguing something except what's in that trust, and they come out and want to talk to you, you learn real quick what the problem was. And so then I took it out of the trust, took the property out, and then I could fight for it all I want to. Went down, filed it into the county record. Now the trust didn't have anything to do with it, but put the property back into the trust through the will. And if you do it through the will, and you only list the name of the will, you don't list what's in the will, then you can do with that trust, that property, whatever you want to, because it's listed in the county records and all this other. So anyway, there's some people in here that you can talk to about their different kinds of things, and you want to talk to them about those, you can. And some of them are good. If a judge places a value on a case of someone in prison, should you leave no. It says should you leave the amount blank on the bond or write the amount the judge gives as value? You write what he says is value. Now he has placed value on it. And so he's obligated by the value he placed. When the cop shoves a ticket through the car window and says, sign it, do we still put none assumption? You can put none assumption or without prejudice, UCC 1-207. In the end, you better know what you're going to say in court. The IRS has put a lien on my Air Force retirement. I have sent Ben Salem original bond and a copy of the retirement, but they are still taking money out of my check. It takes time. I don't know how long you've done this, but I would simply get a hold of Ben Salem and say, what happened to my bond? And kind of find out where it is. Some people it's taken 3 or 4 months. Some people it didn't work, and I don't know why. You know, I'm sitting there. Them other people. Yes.
You wouldn't put a commercial lien on the Air Force retirement?
Well, you can, but I think that.
After you call Ben Salem.
Yeah. Okay. How can I file a commercial lien on somebody who lives in another state? Do I file the lien on him with that county or state? Yes. Wherever his property is, where you file a lien. If you know where his property is, then file a lien there. Okay. What would you do if a deputy served you papers from a county assessor, non-payment of property taxes? Send it back. Send the proper thing back to the deputy right across it. You know, equality under the law is paramount. Just write it across his document and send it back to him. Then write him, if there's amounts on there, write him a bond and send it along with it to the deputy. He's the one that come out and said you owed the money. IRS question. We have noticed that you have not filed a 1040 for the last 2 years. Please answer and fill out the following questions in blanks and send it back to us. I usually do the bond first, and then if anything else comes up about it, I go to the 1041. I filed the wrong form. Here's the 1041. And then just write across that other, equality under the law is paramount, and send it back to them. The IRS really is real simple if you get down that you're filling out the wrong form. If they can get you to fill out a 1040, you work for the federal government, you're a federal employee, and you're obligated to fill a 1040. But why would you fill a form out you're not supposed to fill out? And then swear to the penalty of perjury. 1041 is a form you should fill out. Oh my gosh. How do you put someone into involuntary bankruptcy? Collect their goods. You find out what they got, and then you tell them. Just write them a letter. This is what you've done. I'm putting you in the involuntary, but you practice law without a license. I'm putting you into involuntary bankruptcy, and all of your assets have been forfeited to me. That's all there is to it. And I'm going to sell them in whatever method I can use. How to properly use the bill of exchange to acquire property, not to acquire property. I don't know how to do that. And I'm not going to, that's creating a debt, and that'll get you in trouble. Bill of exchange and all this other only works, and the only thing I ever teach anyone is you want to get into trouble, get on the other side and start trying to buy things with these things. You're creating a debt. You cannot do that. You can only create credit. If you have something and it becomes a debt to you, now you can use one of those to get rid of the debt. We have filed all redemption documents. Should we file a new document declaring us as a sovereign who is competent? Not necessarily, but you can use that competency document that we gave out to you and send it with all the correspondence you have with anyone. How can a power of attorney and copyright be used in a child support case? Oh boy, that gets into a long thing. Number one, you don't need a power of attorney now, but the copyright can always be used anytime they write to you. Send them a bill.